I am currently here at the Yoga Garden in Melbourne, and I'm currently with
Loren, Cortney.
And you are the owner, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The place is awesome.
Thank you.
What brought you to decide to open your own place?
Oh, I don't know, a lot of years of going back and forth. I mean, I've been teaching for like over a decade, and I don't know. I bounced around from lots of different cities, teaching at different studios, and I saw a lot of places do things really right, and a lot of places do things really wrong. So I don't know. I just always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to own my own place.
That's awesome. What brought you to the Yoga Artist?
Well, I moved to Melbourne maybe 5 years ago from New York, and I have a master's in art education, so I actually started teaching at school and thought that was the direction I wanted to go, and realized I was terrible at that. So I decided to then leave that, go back to teaching yoga, and then there really wasn't a place that I felt at home. So being an artist, I was drawn to the Ogali Arts District, and I felt like this was like a really centrally just localized area. It's between everything. Yeah, exactly. So, and just in general, Ogali reminds me of home a little bit. It reminds me of New York a little bit. It's like got little mom and pop shops, and I don't know, it has a different vibe, and I feel like it's growing. So I felt like we belonged here.
That's awesome. Like we were talking earlier, this is if you guys don't know, the Ogali Art District right here on Ogali Boulevard, close to US 1, right by the bridge, right by the library, right by the Food Center Museum, right by the Civic Center. Great place to be overall. It's a redeveloping area. They got some really great businesses coming in. But one of the reasons why I came, not only to discuss entrepreneurship, because there's a lot of people out there who feel, well, that can't be me. Well, obviously it can be, because here you are, and you have a great space, you have a beautiful garden in the back, awesomely located, you have a business that's growing, and I mean, what else can you ask for? I mean, this is what people strive for. This is that mindset of happiness. Now, you said you've been teaching yoga for how long? About
11 years, 11 and a half.
Why? What does yoga do for you? What do you think yoga will do for everybody?
It keeps me sane. It keeps me grounded. I mean, I started doing yoga when I was a mess. I was young and I was into the wrong things, and yoga kind of became my outlet for getting back to myself a little bit, getting back to a place where I was balanced, and I don't know, it was empowering. The yoga practice, people think it's just how you just lay there and stretch, but it's really empowering, like to get on your mat and like grow and train your body to do things you didn't think you could do. And even besides the physical part, just like taking that hour or two or whatever on my mat to myself every day just gave me like a sanctuary where I could separate from the things going on in the world and just come back to a space where I felt clear in my head. So.
There's a lot of misconceptions about yoga. I think there is.
Yes.
Here, you're looking at me. Everybody who knows me is like, Fernez is not flexible. You are correct, but yoga doesn't have to deal with flexibility because nobody's flexible in their first lesson, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first time
I wasn't. I'm still not that flexible.
Exactly. So, but it's about the overall wellness, right? It's that finding that balance in your existence. So there's that misconception. There's also a misconception that that is one specific religion based, where it's not. It's just a spiritual thing.
It's really just closing down the chaos in your head. People think, oh, I have to chant and go to a temple and do all these crazy things to be a yogi, but it's really not that at all. People of all different cultures, all different religious backgrounds do yoga. It's harmless. You can make it more of something that you need it to be for your religious beliefs if you want it to be like a supplement or a tool. But I mean, it can be as simple as just breathing.
Now, obviously, y'all are fit. I'm not so fit right now. I'm on a diet though.
I'm gonna start yoga now.
I feel like I'm already halfway there. I'm on a mat.
On the floor.
I'm on the floor. On a bolster. Okay. So I learned a new word. Add that to the brain.
It's a yoga pillow.
It's a yoga pillow. Oh, yoga pillow. I don't know. I'll be on Amazon later looking up yoga pillows. Because I probably don't know what's my bolster right. But with all of this, you don't have to be 21 years old and 110 pounds. You can be any age, any weight.
Any gender.
And there's it's actually good for people who have disabilities.
Yes, very much.
So I mean, these are all things that out there, you know. A lot of people right now, like me, I'm starting to get back into doing things.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing.
January what? 2nd?
Yeah. I exercised yesterday, so.
So you just had to exercise today.
I figure I'm sitting in.
This is
right now.
exercise.
Check it off.
Exercising your mind.
Exactly. I'm exercising. See, gotta have that balance. Okay. So with that, you know, I wanted to talk to you because you are retired military.
Yes, I am.
Air Force.
Air Force. I did 15 years and then was medically retired.
Wow.
4 tours to Afghanistan.
Wow. 4 tours to Afghanistan. Wow. And you medically retired out?
I retired, because of PTSD.
You said PTSD. A couple of episodes ago on the podcast, we had Josh on there, and Josh talked about how he had gotten PTSD from a traffic crash that he walked up and saw his dead brother. And it really impacted him to a point where he could no longer do the job. And after we got done with the podcast, Josh talked about several things he does to help deal with his PTSD. And after it was done, he goes, "Oh, I forgot, I do yoga." And I was like, "Oh, well, let's talk about that." So we talked for another half an hour about him doing yoga. And, you know, things happen for a reason, right? I knew one person, I knew another person who knew. And she has PTSD and she uses yoga to deal with it. So I wanted to come talk to you about that and, you know, where you were prior to getting into yoga and how it helped balance you out.
So I was diagnosed back in 2009, right after my third deployment, because then I decided I should go back over there for some reason. But anyway, and it just, I had all this anxiety. I was deep into this depression, and yoga was a way. I found it through my therapist, actually. She introduced me to a program called YogaMedics, and it brought me to the present. And with PTSD, we're living in the past, or usually it's that mix between anxiety and depression, or we're worried so much about what's going to happen next. And that was a way that I found myself again. And I just, and then I was in the military for a few more years after that, and then eventually was medically retired out and wasn't sure what I was going to do with my life. And happened to be there was a teacher training near my house, and I decided, I'll sign up, see what it's about. And I loved it, and I think it's a great thing to share with others that are dealing with this kind of thing. And that's what I try to do when I teach, is just, you know, bringing people to that mindfulness, to that present, to bring balance back into their lives.
That's awesome. Now, obviously with PTSD, most people know symptoms. It could be anything from nightmares to flashbacks to depression. Also, things not only apply to the military, but apply to a lot of other jobs. A lot of nurses see death, or doctors see death, firefighters, police officers. We see a lot of that. And, you know, admitting that you have a PTSD issue or some kind of depression is not weakness, it's strength. You know, being able to come and do something like this helps develop that. We all have weaknesses, we all have strengths. You know, I'm never going to be 6'2" and playing basketball. It's not going to happen. I know that. But I know there's a lot of other things I can do. And, you know, we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. With that, how far do you feel that being able to do something like this is taking you from the point you were to now?
I believe it saved my life. It has literally saved my life. It just, you know, with a few years of practice, and then again with the teacher training, and then, you know, realizing how much I love doing that, and being able to help others, still being of service of some sort, is what I really needed as well after leaving the military.
Gotcha.
And so that was a great way for me to still do
that.
that.
That's actually a great point. You know, a lot of us have that what they call servant leadership mentality. And in servant leadership, it's not about how much money you're putting in your pocket, it's about what you can do to impact the community. And with what you're talking about, being able to teach yoga and being able to give that back, it allows you to continue that. And I think a lot of times we talk about the average of 22 a day that are statistically commit suicide, or, you know, are current military or previous military. And then on top of that, over the last 3 years, me being in law enforcement, the rate of cop suicide has shot up. Because a lot of people, they retire and then they sit at home and go, well, what do I do now? You know, I've been this person for 25 years, 30 years, 35 years. How do where am I now? Who am I now? And being able to flip that into more servant leadership really helps. I noticed that a lot of guys who have retired continue to do charity work. They continue to invest in the community, which is usually a good thing because by then they're retired, they have experience, they have a little bit of extra money to move around and do this and do that to be able to help develop. And they offer a lot of good advice. So I think doing something like this is a great avenue to continue that servant mindset. Overall, I mean, you guys, ladies, are both here teaching people how to strengthen themselves in a perfect balance. I mean, and really that's what happens as we get older. We get off that balance. You know, we focus too much on one thing or focus on another. And, you know, I know in my profession, when you're a kid, your circle is this big. And then as you get older, your circle shrinks and it shrinks and it shrinks. And then if you're in law enforcement or firefighter or military, you turn around and start looking around, and the only people that are around you are other retired police officers, other retired firefighters, and you tell the same stories you told 300 times about the glory days, you know? And I think this is a great transition for somebody who has lived that servant life to open up that circle a little bit more and continue to give back. What do you think is your greatest reward right now for doing all this?
I mean, every day I get to help people. You know, every day I get to have people walk through the door, whether they come to yoga all the time, or whether they're terrified and they've never done yoga, which happens more than you think. And, you know, when people leave better, happier, more whole than when they walked in the door, that's a blessing to be able to help them get there. You know, you don't take the credit for that, but it feels good to be part of that process, you know?
Absolutely. If you didn't have this, you wouldn't be here, you know? And it is true, we try to live our lives as examples and try and develop that forward. And in that leadership mindset of, you both have taken the role of teaching and educating others and helping others. That's a leadership mindset. And a lot of times people have a weird mindset on leadership, on what leadership is, and they feel that it's a title or whatever, but it's really
pedestal or something.
Yes, it's really the effort you put in and being willing to take that step and open a place like this. And you know, one of the things I really think was cool is your garden in the back. What inspired that whole mindset?
You know, it's funny. I had been considering opening a studio for all these years, and when I was coming up with concepts, like I really just first the idea of community was like big for me. You know, like because back home my yoga studio was like such a community, like all kinds of people from all walks of life coming together and practicing, and I wasn't able to find that niche here. And so that was big for me. And then for some reason, the idea of growing a garden kept coming into my mind, connecting to community, like growing together. I don't know. But anyway, so the idea of the yoga garden was one of the possibilities in the back of my mind. And when this place was for lease, when I was looking, it had a huge, I mean, it's all irrigated. This was a plant nursery. So it was like created for a garden, for a community garden, which is exactly what, you know, what we needed it to become. So it kind of happened by accident. We stumbled on it. Just, it's like kismet, you know, it just all came together.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
What about you?
For the garden or the...
what do you think is the biggest reward you get every day?
I love it when I can, after teaching and people, they have this look of calm just wash over them. And that is just really, really neat to just be a part of. You know, to see people, you know, so many people rush in here. We rush to get on our mats.
Especially at night.
Yeah. And so it's really neat to see, like, afterwards, just this wave of calm across the space. And it's, you know, I love being able to, again, to just be a part of that. You know, they find it within themselves, you know, but to be able to help them get there.
You get to watch people like shed their bullshit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like not literally, but
yeah.
They shed these layers that they walk around with all day that weigh them down. Like people don't realize how stressed they are. They don't. You could over the years of teaching yoga, you can feel and see right away when someone walks in the room and they're stressed or they have something heavy that they're holding, but they don't even know maybe. Like sometimes people just live in a state of stress all the time, that is their normal.
Yeah.
And so when you can give them like just a way to detach from that, it's like they're amazed by how in an hour they can just feel so much lighter.
It's freedom.
Yeah, totally. Liberation, kind of, yeah.
We, like you said before with the circle, not only with the circle, but we get stuck into a routine where I wake up at 7:30, I make breakfast, 8 o'clock I do this, 9 o'clock I do that, boom, 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 5 o'clock I'm home, I cook dinner, kids go to bed at 8, all these, we have this system.
Yeah.
And after a while, you sit back and you go, where did my years go?
Yeah.
You're like looking around, like how do I break out of that? And being able to almost break that circle and be able to come and do something like this or whatever you choose to do as an activity. My dad cycles. My dad is 67 years old and runs marathons.
That's awesome.
All right?
I wish I could say that about my dad.
I'm plugging you, Dad. There you go. I live a couple doors down from him. I watch him run out. I go, good job, Dad. And I watch him run back and I clap. That's what I do. But it's in there for inspiration, but I'm not there for the wrong thing. But everybody has their own thing, what makes them happy. If you could tell right now, I'll put it like this because you get a voice. Everybody here gets a voice. That is awesome. But now you're going to be talking to people who have no idea who you are or whatever, or what you do. If you could pitch it right now and say, hey, this is what I want to tell you. This is what yoga is, and this is why you guys should get involved with it. If not here, somewhere, anywhere in the United States, because we have people who watch this, and we have people watching different countries. So what would your pitch be?
Yoga is whatever you need it to be. Like people come in the door thinking that they have to mold themselves to what it is to be a yogi. I need to be flexible. I need to be young. I need to have cool pants. Like, it's what you need it to be. You adapt it to who you are and what you have going on in your world, in your life, in your body. That's what it should be. And teachers need to be preaching that more because there is a lot of the yoga out there that makes people conform to a certain way or a certain style or a certain identity or a certain look. But that is not what it's designed to be. It's designed to be what you need it to be. And that's why there's so many different possibilities, styles, people doing yoga. Like, just have to find what fits best for you. So.
And from the veteran standpoint, for people dealing with PTSD, pitch it.
Yoga is a great tool to combat that. How do you like that for military?
No pun intended.
It's there. It's always available to you. And something I do and been ending my classes with is that yoga, you can take it with you anywhere. You don't have to have a mat. You don't have to be in a studio or a gym. It can be just a conscious breath. It can be a mindful action. It can just be. And again, it's just all about being present as well. And that's something that shifts us out of that thought of even just that day-to-day, just in our routines, or again, those worries or fears that we may have. So that's definitely what I would.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to come. The main reason I wanted to come was just to hear what you guys had to say and pitch it out there to. If you have PTSD, there's alternative ways of dealing with it. You don't have to deal with it. It's not all about medication. There are other ways to do it. There's acupuncture. What Josh talked about is acupuncture. There's a lot of people I know who are doing acupuncture. There's a lot of people I know who started doing yoga. And these are great avenues that you can travel. It's out there. If you have PTSD, please don't look at it as weakness. Reach out to people. Talk to somebody about it. Plug your address. Where are we at right now?
1482 Pineapple Avenue at the Yoga Garden.
And what is your website?
YogaGardenFL.com.
Cool. You can follow them on Instagram. Follow them on Facebook. Tune in a couple weeks. We'll be doing the next episode of the Black Dog Confessional. We're going to talk more on different topics like we always do. We have a good time. You're going to be seeing me do this from time to time now. Because the big thing is we want to talk to people in our community that are taking that leadership role and being able to offer you, the community, more options. This is a happy life. Might as well live it, right? Y'all be safe and have a good day.
Namaste.
Namaste.